to Liberia, where the drums still play my song. Take me back to my homeland. It's the place where I belong.
LIB Future TV, giving voice to progressive Liberians, speaking about politics, entertainment, and local news.
Welcome back to another week in review, LIB Future TV. Hello, everyone. I missed you all. Hope you had a great week, good week, productive week. We have another great show ahead. A lot of good information, and we can't wait to hear you call in. But first, let's welcome our producer Jefferson and also Lavetta. How are you all doing? How was the week?
Well, yes, I'm okay. Let me say good afternoon to you there in the US, and it's good to be here again. This weekend edition of the program, I'm good as well.
Lavetta, how are you? How was your week?
Yeah, the week wasn't easy, but I'm okay.
You look good.
Thank you.
So, do we have any good trending news?
Yeah. So I can get right into it?
Yes.
All right. Good evening and welcome to LIB Future today's trending news stories. I'm Lavetta Davis. Alexander Cummings joins Africa's most influential leaders at 2026 Africa CEO Forum in Kigali, Rwanda. Liberia's former presidential candidate and political leader of the Alternative National Congress, Alexander Cummings, is participating in the prestigious 2026 Africa CEO Forum in Kigali, Rwanda, joining some of Africa's most influential heads of state, business executive, investors, and economic policy makers at the continent's leading private sector summit. The 13th edition of the forum, organized by John Afrique Media and co-hosted by the International France Corporation, has attracted more than 2,800 participants from across Africa and beyond under the theme Skill or Fail, why Africa must embrace shared ownership among the high-profile leaders attending this year's summit. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Paul Kagame, and African industrial giant Aliko Dangote. The Africa CEO Forum is where the conversations shaping Africa's investment future take place. Liberia must remain connected to these conversations and positioned for opportunities that can drive national growth, create jobs, and strengthen our economy. Cummings stated, widely respected for his global corporate leadership, Cummings brings more than 4 decades of international business experience to the gathering. He previously served as Executive Vice President and Global Chief Administrative Officer of the Coca-Cola Company and also led Coca-Cola Africa operation as President of the Africa Group. During his corporate career, he became one of the most senior Africa executives in global corporate leadership. As discussions continued in Kigali, Cummings' participation signals Liberia's continued engagement in shaping Africa's future economic direction while advocating for greater investment and development opportunities for the Liberian people. ANC political leader Alexander Cummings sharply responds to fake propaganda from supporters of President Bouaka. Alternative National Congress political leader Alexander Cummings says at no time was an appointment of his chief of staff made by his office. According to him, it is enriched in the ANC statement that Councillor Moriah Yakula is a distinguished member and officer of the ANC serving as vice chair for legal affairs, noting that she has been fearlessly loyal to him and the entire party, and they will fearlessly protect and defend her. While many had their hands in supporting Min, she has not, and as a result is being cruelly and vigorously attacked. We will not let the attacker get away with that, Cummings noted. He asserted that Mariah has built a solid reputation for herself, backed by her impeccable character, and no amount of smear campaign can change that, adding that her family, marriage, or personal life will not be used to defile her now or ever. The ANC political leader at the same time underscored that he will always support and defend Mariah and reciprocate her loyalty and support of him. Alexander Cummings further stated that though they both do not always agree, but she has never shared their disagreement publicly. She is the consummate example of a good and true team player who focuses on their end goal, understanding that they will sometimes disagree on the means to achieving that goal, gaining state power to benefit all Liberians. Mariah remains an asset to not just the ANC but to nation building, women's rights, and the advancement of women and girls, and it will not be buried under the rubbles of crashing political propaganda missionary. Former Vice President reacts to criticism against Councillor Mariah Yekola, describes allegation as campaign to undermine women positions of authority. Liberia's former Vice President Joel Howard Taylor has come in defense of Councillor Mariah Yekola amid public criticism, describing recent allegations and public commentary against her as a broader campaign to undermine women in positions of authority. In a strongly awarded statement, former Vice President Howard Taylor said female leaders in Liberia are frequently subjected to character attacks and misinformation whenever they gain influence in national affairs. According to her, political opponents often resort to damaging personal reputations when they are unable to challenge a woman's achievement or professional record. Public school teachers blast Ministry of Education plans to arrest teachers teaching in classrooms without lesson. Scores of public school teachers have blasted the Ministry of Education plans to arrest teachers who are volunteering their services in the classrooms. According to the volunteer teachers, since the UP-led government came into power, they continue to experience difficulties in providing quality education in the classrooms. The teachers, most of whom are recently Harley High School graduates, caution the government to appreciate their efforts in volunteering their services over the years rather than arresting them. Liberia Independent Elder Council for Peace and Reconciliation calls on President Bouaka to reconcile the country. The Liberia Independent Elder Council for Peace and Reconciliation has called on President Joseph Bouaka to foster peace and unity among Liberians. Addressing a press conference Wednesday, the Independent Elder Council said it is deeply concerned about the growing political division, tension, and hostility among supporters of the CDC and the Unity Party, adding that Liberia's democracy must never become a hatred, revenge, tribalism, or political bitterness. The council emphasized that President Joseph Bouaka, as certain president, bears the greater constitutional responsibility to lead the process of reconciliation and inclusion. Councillor Per Brown Bull terms the political advisor to President Bouaka as a disgrace to womanhood. Renowned Liberian lawyer and signer of the 1986 Constitution has sharply reacted to a statement made by political advisor to President Joseph Bouaka, Mandela Cooper. Speaking at the grounds of the Temple of Justice, Councillor Boo said that Mandela Cooper is not politically inclined, adding that she has been accused of allegedly stealing other people's men. According to Councillor Boo, as political advisor to President Bouacar, Mandela Cooper has failed to bring any international partners to Liberia, urging her to stay away from the operation of Foreign Minister Cyril Beslo Yanti and focus on her job. Meanwhile, the Liberian lawyer praised Foreign Minister Cyril Beslo Yanti for her great job at the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Liberians expressed frustrations over the hack in the price of safe drinking water across the country. Scores of Liberian businesses continue to face the most recent complaint is the absolute shortage of safe drinking water on at various homes in the capital, Monrovia. It can be recalled that during the course this week, the prices of mineral water increased from 5 Liberian dollars per bag to $10, while the price of 1.5 liter of water increased from 100 Liberian dollars to 120 Liberian dollars. They complained that the government continues to increase taxes on basic goods and services, such as plastics and other products, something they said is causing hardship for importers. According to them, the government, through the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, promised to provide prep-borne water across the country, but has failed. Some of them stated that because they could not afford the cost of buying a bag of water for $10, they had no option but to drink from contaminated wells. In another development, the Liberia Water Producer Association says the recent increase in the price of bags and sacks of mineral water was driven by raising production costs and multiple regulatory charges across government institutions. According to the spokesperson, Joseph Bonner, fuel prices increased from 800 Liberian dollars to $1,225 per gallon, which significantly increased production and distribution costs for water producers who rely on generators and transport trucks. Bonner alleged that producers in Painesville are also paying US $110 per machine in operational fees to the Painesville City Corporation, something he said places more pressure on businesses operating multiple machines. He further cited additional regulatory and compliance costs, including fees linked to the Environmental Protection Agency and water testing requirements, as well as charges linked to groundwater regulation by the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. My name is Lavecta Davis. I presented the latest new update from Liberia.
Thank you, Lavetta. We also need to cover a story that's developing, and I guess we can get more into it next week. But it looks like there's another Ebola outbreak. Have you heard of that? Have you seen anything about that so far?
Well, not really.
Not really.
We haven't heard about this recent
Okay. Yes, it looks like there's a Ebola outbreak in the Congo. So we'll be following that story too. But thank you so much, Lavetta, for that news. And I hope you get home safely tonight.
Okay, yeah, it's always a pleasure having me. Thank you too.
Thank you. Yes, so tonight we have a lot of great topics. We have three topics that we're going to cover tonight. The first topic is something that Lavetta touched on in her news, and it's about waste, government waste, and the audit that shows how much we waste money in Liberia, and that is what's stopping our growth. And then you add to that the cost of taxes and fees that the government is putting on Liberian people. And this tells us why the country cannot develop, why it's not developing like the other neighbors are developing. So we're going to cover the audits that have happened, the spending, the money, the millions of dollars that Liberia is losing, and why that's stopping us from developing in our water pipes, in our clean water, in getting roads, in getting good education, because of all the waste that's happening. And there was a recent audit that showed exactly how much money is being lost in corruption and stealing and mismanagement and that kind of thing. The second topic we're going to talk about is Unification Day. That was this week. And how Liberians are really feeling, if they are feeling unified, if they're feeling like the country is coming together. We had this story in the news about women in politics, and what Magdala Cooper said about the foreign minister, and what Pearl Bull talked about, how women need to be unified. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about how the government is being put together. Is it being put together in a way that shows unification in the country? Do we see CDC, ANC, LPP, NPP, LINU reflected in the government? Is the government reflected by all the counties, or is the government just about one party and one region? We're going to talk about that too. And the last topic we're going to talk about is this fake propaganda and how we in the public can stop listening, falling for all this fake news, fake propaganda that's coming out as we head to the election. So let's go right into our first topic, and that is going to be this whole waste situation. There was an audit that was just completed, and it was between the years 2020 and 2023. So one of the things that the Unity Party does is it is auditing, but it's not auditing the years that it is in power. It is only auditing the years that the CDC was in power. So we need to be very careful. But the audit from 2020 to 2023 showed that $1.2 million in personal income tax was never remitted in the government of Liberia account. $1.2 million. So all the taxes that were collected, 1.2 million never went into the government account. From the NASCOR pension, 1.5 million was collected but not given to NASCOR. So 1.5 million was collected by different agencies, out of people's paycheck, but it never reached NASCOR. Also, in NASCOR, or just across the government, $241,000 was spent. They paid board members, and they gave them gratuities, but they never had any evidence of them attending any meetings. $121,000 was spent, and no payment vouchers, invoices, or any receipts were given for this money. $70,000 of goods and service taxes was never given to the government of Liberia, although it was collected. So think about this large sums of money being collected all around these different agencies in the government, but they are not sending the money to the government of Liberia to actually spend the money on education, roads, schools, health care. All of this money, millions of dollars, going nowhere. Where is it? What happened to it? disappeared. You see, this is the problem that we have in the country. This is why the country is not developing. It's because we have so much corruption and stealing in the country, so much mismanagement, poor management, that this money that is being collected is not actually used to benefit you, your family, your children, to fix the country, provide good drinking water, good health care, good education. And that is why we are saying there's time for change. It's time to change the system. Because if you have a strong system, you can't get away with stealing and hiding and crooking that much money. Somebody would say, excuse me, April has gone by. You did not remit the pension fund money this month. Where is it? If you don't bring it this month, we will be at your office to do an audit because the money should have been here this month. There's no one knocking on the door saying that because there's no checks, no balances, no system in place. Jefferson, what do you say about all this money, millions of dollars being lost to poor mismanagement in the government?
Well, it's just so about corruption, I would say, um, and this is why the country continues to remain where it is, because when people are, just all about themselves, they have the mindset of just coming to government to just enrich themselves. They believe that the only place they can find riches and wealth is to work in government, where they will have funds uh, diverted into private accounts, and then millions of dollars leaving the country, main covers, and then going into unknown accounts without proper justification. Who suffers the end of the day? It is the government, that and not the government but the country. It is the country that bears the consequences, and with the vast majority of the people, they continue to live in abject poverty. And so you find out at the end of the day, when audits are being done, even with all of these audits that are conducted, you still have these funds not being remitted into government covers, because now when the money comes, where do they go? Nobody accounts for them, and people sometimes just walk free. Somebody will just maybe resign or so. But it is just a sad thing for our country.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Pearson, welcome. Welcome to Liberia Future TV Week in Review.
Thank you for having me, Catherine. And Jefferson, it's a pleasure seeing you after being away for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
And to the Liberian people out there, sorry, I gotta find my Liberian voice. I'm just in the office, so I ain't got my Liberian voice yet. But I will find my Liberian voice in the show. It's a pleasure being on. There's a lot going on in the country, and I'm sure we will be able to discuss those issues and see how we can bring some understanding to the situations in Liberia.
Yes, we are talking about topic one, which is the waste of the government stops growth. We cannot develop the infrastructure because we need so much money to develop the infrastructure of the country. When you have these audits that were taking place that show millions and millions of dollars that never reached the government of Liberia account, money that was collected for taxes, money that was collected for pension, money paid to board members. I mean, you're sitting on a board. It's for the good of the organization. You're not supposed to be doing it to get paid. It's not a job. It's just for you to sit and help govern. But $240,000 were paid without no evidence that these people even went to a board meeting. You know, this kind of wasteful spending is the reason why we don't have good healthcare, teachers. What say you, Dr. Pearson?
Thank you, Catherine. And no, that's why it is important for us to have these conversations, because prior to getting social media as active as it is right now, and the penetration of these kind of a conversation and communications across our country, when we had limited access to information, it was easy for people to do things and get away with it, whether they are stealing money. And sometimes we even have other reports that are lying there with no access to those other reports. We don't even know what is in other report. So people became complacent, and people thought they could get away with some of those behavior. But now things are kind of different, right? So now that we have access to information, whether they like it or not, whether public officials like it or not, we have access to information. We know how to go and sort out the information. We know where to go and find it. We know when to ask for it. We know when to bring it up, even if they're trying to ignore it. So at this point, let us speak to the issue of the waste, right? So waste is one of the major constraints we have in Liberia right now. Madam Ellen just mentioned this, that the country is filthy, is dirty. We have foreign guest influencer comes to the country and trying to even videotape and expose it. And then we're finding problem trying to catch up and keep up with keeping the city clean. But at the same time, when you look at why we're failing, there are a couple of reasons. One would be not only that we don't have the structure and the infrastructure to go about waste management, but the thing about any planning, Catherine and Jefferson, is resources. We've been very reliant on donor support. Now, donor support, they're winding down. They in fact, people are putting the donor support to African countries away. So we have to make maximum use of whatever internal resources we can generate. So, and let us remember that when we are able to raise any revenue in the country and manage it properly, that very revenue is able to sustain any viable project that we're trying to carry out in the country. So, for instance, the cleaning of the city. So, if you are able to generate monies, and Jefferson and I were having this conversation the other day, if you're able to raise money from marketers, if you are able to raise money from street sellers, you are able to raise money from trash disposal, and then you end up squandering the money. How do you reinvest it, Catherine? Like, how do you reinvest it? In fact, not only just to reinvest it, how do you reinvest it in a way that you build a capital and build the infrastructure for the management of those waste? Like the way I live right now, I don't bother about waste. The people come every Monday to pick up my trash, and every Thursday to pick up my recycle, right? I don't have to even think about it. I just pay for it and it's get done. No one eats the money, right? And then stay away from doing their job. It doesn't happen like that. And tying it to sanitation, it goes down to health in the arrest agenda. So if this is as serious as it's supposed to be for the Liberian people and the government of Liberia, why are they allowing monies that should be used for its intended purpose to be stolen? Someone will say, well, it's just it's the past government. But listen, if the current government was doing better, we say, yeah, the other guys who came before them mess it up. Now the new guys are doing the right thing, but we still don't see any change, and that tells you that the system is still not being is not self-correcting. Regardless that we've changed leadership, Catherine.
This is video from Senator Dillon talking about the situation in LEC. We need so much money to expand the electricity grid, and all of this money that's being wasted in somebody's pocket, paid to people they're not even going to the board meetings, but they're getting paid. Political paybacks. All of this money, we could be using it for something good in the country. Take a listen.
How is the LDC situation in the country today?
It's embarrassing. I said it a few days ago. I put out a post. Interestingly, when
I
LEC
just
was,
want to remind our audience, I didn't see your post, but let me just play this for you.
I need a,
The first thing I changed since Boga became president is that George Weah is not president anymore. That's number one. Number two, Julius. Number two, LEC is not everywhere, but the places LEC supply current, plenty of people don't remember when they put a generator on. In fact, no home panics when LEC goes this time. In fact, everybody almost sent them to the same place because when LEC goes, they come in almost right back. If you say nothing has changed, go put your generator on if it will start immediately. When you use generator 1 or 2 with a hard starting, and 2, people used to buy LEC current and at the same time buy fuel for the generator. They used to use the generator more than the LEC because LEC was not stable. Now, that fuel money that you're not using again, that something has changed that you can use for something else. Some people who say they have not changed, nothing has changed, like President Weah and Ellis coming and opposition. Thank God President Weah and Ellis coming from the Southeast. Let them get in car today from Aurora and go to Maryland and Grand Creek. If they will not reach today, and if they won't come back, if they don't return today, they will know nothing has changed. Since Boakai became president, the rice price have not gone up, but it has reduced. Since Boakai became president, no Liberian car owner or horse owner have formed queue at filling stations in anticipation or fear that there will be shortage of petroleum products. The product have not gone up, the cost, the prices, but it have come down. Go in America where they quick to compare Liberia. Almost every commodity price have gone up since Donald Trump became president. Rice price up, egg price up, coffee price up, groceries prices are up. Almost everything prices coming down in Liberia. The only thing we see, I tell people, if you don't change the way you see things, the things you see will not change.
his name is Darius DeLon.
His name is Darius DeLon. I like, who's that? Clarence Jackson, right? Is that his name?
That's Julius J.
Julia J. I like Julia J. I never met her. But anyway, DeLon, you going to take this back today? LEC stay stable in the country? LEC stay good?
No, but the time I had this interview, you didn't play it. Because the time I
didn't see it.
Exactly. You did not see it deliberately. I'm a propagandist like yourself. When I had this interview, nobody could challenge the truism and the facts of what I said at the time. Now that LEC is very terrible and embarrassing, I made a statement that LEC is embarrassing.
Now, this is Senator Chillen. Okay, my Liberian people. He went on one show and said LEC is beautiful. You don't even need your generator. You don't even need fuel for your generator. As soon as LEC go, it come right back. It's beautiful. Prices are down. Gas prices are down. Everything is wonderful. Now he's on another show and saying LEC is terrible. It's embarrassing. You know, so I have whiplash. I'm just going like this. What is happening with these people? You know, they are themselves proving that nothing has changed. He said, oh, Alex Cummings has said nothing has changed. Yes, nothing has changed. Prices are high. Waste for government. And then on top of that, you are charging extra taxes on people. I don't understand it. Jefferson, what is really going on with these people? Oh, Jefferson, you are muted. Oh, I think Jefferson may be off. He's not connected. Go ahead, Dr. Pearson.
You know, I'm looking at the video and I'm just laughing because, you know, Liberia is an interesting country, Catherine. And I say that because I think, you know, let me be honest here. DeLong, is one of those who I have a lot of respect for in terms of how he has distinguished himself when it comes to his output in serving the country. I knew DeLong before he even rose to prominence from way down the line, and he's one of those I have a lot of respect for. So I'm not in any way trying to speak in a derogatory manner concerning Senator DeLong. But this is what I would say. I think what DeLong mentioned in the video is self-explanatory. He says he's a propagandist, right? So the essence of someone being a propagandist is just to tell you that they are those who just gave the rhetoric to appease the public, to sway public opinion. So I can understand when DeLong is making some of the claims that he made. I'm frequently in Liberia. You know, a lot of the times I go to Liberia. Ridiculously, we spend a lot on fuel, on gasoline to run generator when current goes. Because let me say this for a fact: it's difficult. Like when I go in the summer, it's difficult catching to sleep in your bedroom without the air conditioner during the summertime. Even if it is rainy season, to an extent, at least you can try, right? But during summer, it's pretty difficult. I mean, you sweat profusely like you taking shower, you know, and then the mosquito and stuff. Just the other day, I was in Liberia. My current went for in less than 30 minutes before they could get the generator on. I got bitten by mosquitoes to the extent that I end up having fever. All right, it's just that I'm a kwaku, and Jefferson know what I mean to be a kwaku. You know, I'm a kwaku.
I'm not.
So the malaria could do nothing to me. You know, I could see the love in the eyes of the mosquito, but it didn't make it.
I'm not a kwaku.
But it didn't make it. You know, and I took sick there. I got fever, and I sent my son to go and get me medication. He brought me Lucky Noy, you know, Lucky Noy. And Catherine, you might be wondering why Lucky Noy is.
I don't want to know.
You know, in America we take Tylenol, right? And they do sell it, you know, bro. But when you buy it from the Lucky Pharmacy read me and read Brand as Lucky Noy.
Oh.
But I just say that just for my Liberian people who are listening, you know. And then look, I'm saying this to say, look, you see, we need to understand when DeLong tells us that something's changing, and Mr. Cummings is saying nothing has changed, because they don't have the level of understanding of Mr. Cummings. They are looking on the margin of things. They're looking on the periphery, like on the periphery. They're looking at the things that's not substantive. Let me give an example, Catherine. When you want to look to see if change has occurred, you want to look for systemic changes, right? Change that happens from the root, so that when you say this issue has been addressed, you're going few months down the line or 3 weeks down the line, then it seems a year down the line, it seems all issues resurface. You want to address it in a way that it stays addressed, right? And so when you look at some of the things that they call changes, now he's talking about prices coming down, while prices going up in America. Take for example, he's not even considering the importance of the quality of the goods coming to the country. What is the quality of the goods coming to the country? Some of the milks that come to the country, some of the eggs that come to the country. I'm talking about the one that they're producing there. Some of the other product that comes to the country, some of them before they even get in the store and stay 2-3 months, they expire, right? I was just looking at one of the local radio station in Liberia, listening to one of the local radio station in Liberia the other day, and a lady was mentioning how she went to do a workshop and she went and bought a wet, the wet towels that you can use to wet things that is alcohol-based content used to disinfect tables or chairs if you're wiping them down. And she bought the wet towel and carried it, and the whole packet was dry, totally dry. So she took it back to the store and told the Lebanese man, look, this thing is called wet towel for a reason. It has to be wet, right? How come the whole packet is dry? He said he cannot take it, right? He cannot take it back. And then I saw the commerce minister speaking to that. So what is the quality of the goods are you talking about that the prices are down when there are a lot of so much aspired product on the market? So yes, people sell it cheap because they wanted to go. Right? If you're bringing quality stuff in the country, like the United States will make sure anything comes to the country meets a certain standard, then the importer will want to make sure that they get the money from the excess that they're putting into the product, that the quality of product they bring in the country. So what qualities do we have there that he boasting that it is cheap? You know, I went to Liberia before one day. I decided to buy toothpaste. I put the toothpaste in the toothbrush, try to brush my teeth. It can even say dissolve or foam or whatever. I'm like, you know, what kind of a toothpaste is this? Like, you know, and my children had to go and get me the one they know will work for me from exclusive supermarket. So, and then talking about the current catching, we all know that we have a seasonal hydro. Seasonal hydro means to say that during the dry season, it goes dry, right? In the wet season, the rainy season got 2 seasons there. In the rainy season, of course, it's going to perform to an extent, right? When you're coming close to the end of the dry season, where the water that is supplying the hydro is totally unproductive for the hydro to get its a yield that you want out of the hydro, of course, there will not be proper electricity in the country. So at the time you get that electricity, that's not the right time to evaluate whether you have sustainable and potential for electricity. No, that's not the time. So go through the dry season and be able to balance out the CLSG power from Guinea and from Ivory Coast, balance it out with other maybe solar, balance it with thermal energy we say we have in the country now, and see it supplies during the dry season. Then you tell me say the current is stable, then catch you out. I believe you, right? But it can be raining, say you got plenty of water. Come to the dry season, when no rain, then you tell me say you get water, then I can understand. You know?
Yeah, to me, I think the waste that we have in the country could go towards expanding the electricity grid and buying solar. You know, a lot of these street lights in Hawaii, all of the lights that are along the highways are solar. You know, the reason why is because they get a lot of sunlight. Instead of installing more street lights that use electricity, they should be investing in solar lights that capture the sun during the day, and at night they regenerate and use that energy at night, because you only need street lights at night. You don't need them during the day. So instead of installing electricity based street lights, they should start focusing on solar based street lights, using some of this money that they are stealing corruptly, hiding, putting in different places. They should be using that to at least start working on the street lights and seeing what other areas they could use for solar based electricity. Because in order to grow the grid is going to be very expensive. But these are some of the things that we can ask when we are negotiating or renegotiating these concession agreements. Instead of getting 3% for B Mountain, you should be getting more money and using that money to say how much is it going to cost for us to build more transmission across Liberia so that we can have more electricity. It's probably going to be a 10 to 15 year project. It's not something that's going to be immediate, but you have long-term planning and you have short-term planning. And how you deal with that is, what can we do short term? Well, we can get some more solar. We can look at ways to, expand using our connections with other countries. We can look at ways that we can partner with different companies that want to come in to develop. So there's all kind of ways to do it. But I think what Dylan was saying actually was that Mr. Cummings ended up being right. That nothing has changed, because when he first started saying, oh, the electricity is doing so well, prices are down, he was saying what Cummings said, nothing has changed. Well, then later on, he had to retract that on Spoon, because yes, prices are going up. They're charging more taxes on people, and things have not changed. This is a man in Grand Bassa. He has to collect water, rainwater, and it is contaminated. He's collecting it, and he's drinking this water. Now, this is unacceptable in 2026. It's unacceptable. And this is a child in the picture. This is why people are not surviving long, why they're having health problems. because the money that we are supposed to be having in the country is redirected into somebody's pocket. And when they say it's not happening in this government, Joseph Boycott told us it is happening because he didn't know what happened to $6 million that built a property, presidential palace. He didn't know that somebody took $6 million and started building this property. So this is happening. They are still spending money and no one knows what has happened to that money.
Yeah, yes, and you're right, because in Liberia we say the fish starts to get rotten from the head, and the buck stops with the president. The president should be able to provide leadership. The president should be able to provide vision. The president should be able to call those who are under him in check. Right? I'm not talking about the formality around all we're doing. Government officials evaluation and performance evaluation and checking, certificating people. Like for what? Like you have people sitting over the nations, some of the nations more lucrative public agencies like SOEs, like LPRC, like RRA, like Liberia Water and Sewer and LEC and other areas. And then you allow these people to NASCAR, you are sitting over pensioners' money, and you allow people to go into those monies, Catherine, and use it without legislative approval, and use it without the president having no knowledge that the money is being used, and the president has the audacity to come on state radio, the national radio, ELBC, and say, I didn't have any idea that thing was being done, the property was being built, but it is a good thing. It sounds to me like that father in the house who say, my son brought home, a bundle of money, maybe $1,000 US. I didn't know where it's coming from, but it's a good thing because we can cook now and we can buy clothes and we can pay the tuition. Like, why wouldn't you want to be concerned where the money came from, right? Even if it was your wife's, maybe President Barack, before he became president, his wife was doing a little small market and thing alone in front of and so what if your son goes and he steals the mother's market money and come to you and say, Papa, I gave you $50. Then the papa say, go buy me a soft drink. The child buys the soft drink and bring it home. And then the mother asking the child, where you took the money from? The child say, I don't know what the child took the money. I know what they about. I drinking soft drink. So okay. What? Because you feel it has some benefit to the country because it was caught. Now it's okay. So if you cannot account for $6 million that was spent behind your back and you didn't order a commission, an audit, or an investigation, what else could be stolen? How much other money is being stolen in that country, Catherine? How much? We might be talking millions and millions of dollars. But I guess the appease the president maybe giving one vehicle that costs $1.2 million, and now his mouth is shut. And every now and then maybe they carry a luggage or a bag of money to him and say, Mr. President, yes, somebody can pay us in your compound for yourself. So when you leave from power, you can have somewhere to stay. So does that make it okay? No, I mean it's disturbing, Catherine. It's very disturbing.
It really is. And Jefferson, you have anything before we close on this?
Yeah. So you getting me now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for that. So I listened to Senator Dillon and I watched the video. Sometimes it's good to put these politicians on record whenever they're saying things. He believed then that maybe the dry season, LEC people were not using their generators, so he believed now then that there wouldn't be the sound of any generator across the country or the city. But we're interested to know that, like Dr. Pearson said, even I hear almost every night the current will come, like for example, yesterday was Unification Day. early in the morning, I was getting ready to come to the station, to come to work to do, and just within that time, between 6:15, 6:20, and the lights went off, and I was like, "Wow!" I did a post. I said, "LEC today holiday, the quarter speech for oil again." Yeah, so because they turned the lights off, and later on in the afternoon, in the evening hours, you know, they brought the lights around 9, between 9 to 10, and it was interesting to know that at 12 a.m. the lights went off. And so it's just like that. So Senator DeLong, maybe at his home, he's not feeling the pinch of buying fuel, and so he doesn't know how it is, or maybe he has this as he's one of those who are on the executive line, so he doesn't want to know. But it is so heartbreaking, so disturbing to hear that current people can use that generator again. This time after 2 weeks, you try it, it will give you heart starting. That's more great on people. That's complete mockery, because you right now. I mean, if you, I just placed a call back home, and I asked current there, and everybody is just heat some lying on the floor, and you have to open your windows, expose your inside part of the house to criminals because the heat and what have you. And so it's, I mean, but these politicians, they will not feel it. That's how it is. Ration, the LEC current has become is a ration now in Liberia. Selling it, give you 2 hours here, they cut you off 2 hours on the other side, they cut you off 2 hours to the other place. That's how it is. So it's just sad.
Well, thank you, Jefferson. I just want our audience, the people who listen to us, we are Liberia Future TV, and the reason why we have future in there is because we want to change the country. We want to fix the country. We want a different country. We want a better future, and we cannot have the stealing, the corruption, because what it does is it stops us from growing the country. It stops us from building the infrastructure of the country. If we didn't have all this money that was stolen, we could build our LEC capacity. So that's why we need a president who knows how to stop corruption, how to stop the stealing, how to stop the waste, and who is dedicated to investing in the infrastructure of the country, wants to build the electricity grid, wants to build more solar panels or solar powered, lights, wants to build more clean drinking water facilities, our sewers, clean up our cities. There's a lot to do, and it can be done, and the money is available. But if the money is stolen, then no, we will not develop. So with that, I want to go to our next topic, which was Unification Day. And Jefferson, it was Unification Day. It's a holiday that's supposed to bring everyone together. We're supposed to stop all the tribalism. We're supposed to have peace. Everyone's supposed to come together in Liberia. Which president was it? Was it not Tolbert? Was it Tubman or Tolbert? Tubman. President Tubman, who decided to start Unification Day. So one of the things that I asked is, how can the country be unified when the government is not unified? So when the Unity Party government won, they had an opportunity to build a government that will reflect all of Liberia. That's what the Constitution says. We should have people from different counties. You should have people from different places in the government. But it looks like they only picked people from their own party, Unity Party, and they picked a lot of people from the president's county, Lofa, to serve in the government. And that's a signal to the people that they don't really want unification. They are focused on themselves. Mr. Cummings says, I will have a government that reflects everybody from all counties and all parties, political parties. In fact, it will be a time where once the election is over, it's time for us to govern. So whoever is qualified for the job, if you apply, whether you're from Unity Party or CDC or ANC or LPP or NPP or LINU or CMC, wherever you're from, if you're the most qualified, you'll get the job. And that's the way how you bring people together. Not just picking people from your own county, Lofa County, to serve in your government, because that doesn't make the whole country feel unified. So, Dr. Pearson, what do you say about this Unification Day and what the president is he leading us towards unification in the country?
Thank you, Catherine. Look, let me say happy belated Unification Day to a lot of Liberians. I wasn't available on air on Unification Day, so let me just wish them well. And I understand that this is an important day for our country. And I know some people argue whether we should still maintain it or should drop it. I think we should keep it because Liberia has too many cleavages, too many past conflicts that anything that will help heal and reunite us will be important for us to observe. But at the same time, let me say this, Catherine. Unification is the idea of a nation, especially when it comes to the whole country, where the nation, there's part of diversity, ethnic diversity, 16 different tribes, I think I heard, 15 different counties. Jefferson said 18 tribes or 16?
16.
16 different tribes, 15 different counties. And not just that, but again, open to diverse other culture, people, Ghanaians, Lebanese, and Fulanese coming to the country. Yeah, so we have almost like a melting pot, right? We like the small America in Africa, and we're very hospitable people. But that does not mean we don't have a history of conflict and big divides. The Congo native divide is still there, even though we try to pretend it is not there. But sometimes when you push us too hard, then you say, "Oh, you Congo man," "Oh, you country man," you got to push us a little harder before we say it, And then we saw during the civil crisis where we couple Mandingo certain war. I don't want to use President Boyka. I'll be comfortable saying it, but I cannot say it because I don't think I'm like President Boyka. Say Mandingo this and Mandingo that. So that sentiment is still there, and people still resent Mandingo people, even in the political space. And I can say that for a fact, right? And if you were to put a Mandingo mayor and say Mandingo mayor want to become president, everybody would, majority of the people say Mandingo mayor can never be president in this country, It is now that the political space is opening up, thanks to those who were progressive in advocating for, a much more freer and inclusive political space. Besides that, we've had the indigenous, the native, we call it, and the Congo clash that led to native woman born soya, and soya K turbo and stuff like that. People sank and danced with that. And people still carry bruises from 13 men that were shot on the pole across from BDC, right across from Kieta Radio, right? So there are so many things that come in the Liberian civil crisis. So there's so many hurt. 250,000 people lost their life, Catherine. One home in Liberia have at least 5 to 6 people in it, right? So if you times that by one person over 25, you're talking more than 1 million people we lost in the civil crisis, right? And people still carrying those hurt. We have not a minister of justice, and appropriately, people who've caused this major hurt to people either live in luxury, some of them even die in luxury, some of them got reburied in luxury. Some of us can even still find I can still find my father where my father was buried when he lost his life in the civil crisis. I just carry in my mind, that my father is somewhere in Liberia there or somewhere in Sierra Leone there, no matter wherever he died as a result of the civil crisis, because he was killed. I wouldn't know where he was buried. So, but then perpetrators get reburied with. So I'm not sure if President Boyka really has anything that is reconciliatory in mind, Catherine, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if he's ready thinking about unification in a very serious way. I'm being honest with you. If President Boyka value unification, he wouldn't be out of the country. Why are you planning for unification, right? He will be in the country. He will be setting up, events and activities that will put some meaning and activities and value, have some value to the program, right? So I don't see that. I don't see that. So it's sad. That's the country we have. That's the kind of president we have. We just have to make do with what we have. But I mean, it's sad, Katrin. I don't see President Boyka being a unified, especially with the backing dog situation in addition, and Liberian people are begging too much, kind of a situation, talking to the poor people who gave you the opportunity to ride a $1.2 million wheelbarrow, all right, who gave you opportunity to start paying almost close to $2 million house that you never had before, who gave you opportunity to put a property worth almost $10 million in foyer that you never put a kitchen in before. And you say they're begging because they are in need, they are suffering, they are hungry, they cannot even afford water. No. I don't think President Boyka is a unifier, Catherine.
Jefferson.
Well, on Wednesday, just the day before the Independence Day, the Unification Day, I was fortunate to have attended a press conference by the Independent Elder Council, and one thing they stressed on is calling on President Boakai to lead the way for unity. Made emphasis on when former President Weah won the 2017 elections. In fact, he drove to the home of then former Vice President Joseph Boakai and presented him gifts, and also then. But when President Boakai took over, he won the elections. He had not, had this reconciliation with or unity with George Weah, and it was so sad that on Thursday we did not see. In fact, because normally every national holiday that is coming, there will be a prior notice informing the public on the Facebook page of the Executive Mansion. But that was not seen the whole of Wednesday and Thursday morning. Again, while on the show here, I searched the Executive Mansion page. I still could not see it. We highlighted that and talked about it. It was later on in the afternoon that they had to release, a statement about National Unification Day. And this is not a good sign. As a leader, it is always good. It is not about you, it is about the country. When you bring, just by you being the head, you being the, head of state, or when you bring all the leaders around, you sit on the table. For example, this particular moment, this Unification Day could have been a time where President Boakai, would have called all opposition leaders, the likes of Mr. Cummings, George Weah, Madam Salif, that, we have this FOIA issue. How can we solve it? It's been long now, and Liberians are questioning me. Can we come together as one and have, this bond? Maybe you have George Weah Cummings, your business expertise, your, relationship with Domoya. We could go there and go to ECOWAS, all our leaders, and intervene. This moment could have been one of the, in my mind, the best moment to have, have this FOIA and issue, this Bola issue, resolved. But that was not the case. Liberians continue like yesterday, they complain today. But why is it that we could not see the president having this program, unification program, calling opposition figures, tension in the country with all? It is the time that Liberia unite. But it's just a sign that maybe President Boakai, how he's handling this, bringing people together since the war. But it is just so sad. But for this country to come together, it needs somebody who would definitely lead. It needs somebody who would take the step in making sure that we unite. We have this national unity tournament. It is not about prayer. Liberia has, past the level of prayers now. It is action. you have to put into action. Forget about this too much prayer. Let's make up our minds to unite this country, and President Baka will have to take the step.
You know, it comes from the top, right? So President Buckeye is showing us he doesn't have that unification spirit. And look at the people he has in his government. Daniel Sando go stand there and cuss people from the government desk. You know, the minister of finance said, "Oh, what am I supposed to have a ministry of bread and butter?" You know, just showing such no care for the Liberian people. And somebody made a positive comment about the foreign minister, who I think most people say she is one of the bright areas in the Unity Party government. She's doing well. She is trying her best. She, is going out there to repair the reputation of Liberia. Her ministry runs with, very little scandal here and there. You hear things, but so far she's been trying her best to help the country. And somebody made a positive comment about her, and somebody in the Unity Party government could not let it sit and had to make a negative comment and say, "No, you're not the engine of the government. The engine of the government is the president." So this is Pearl Bull Brown. Pearl Brown Bull. Pearl Brown Bull, longtime counselor, advocate in the country. This is her comments.
As long as the women remain split the way they are, the men will always be on top. Now, when Mandela Cooper got to say about our foreign minister, that foreign minister, yes, she bringing it like here. That lady work in Sudan, she work in Yemen, she know the international community, and she doing very well. If somebody gave the opinion that they want, she got to put her mouth inside, that she say, well, advisor for political affairs. What politics she know, she bringing in those international men here, and brought that man there who talk about football, she finished leaving, she said she married to the speaker, that man at the speaker. Yeah, the speaker. That her tell us about how to be an OPP, other people's property, and how to handle it. Because the people accusing her of the man. So she's a man hooker, and that woman is a developer. Who fooled her? She wanted to be foreign minister. These other people here, Jelly, Sarah Peslow, and Luca, she doing well. And the people know her. She can just press the button on the telephone, and they call her and bow down to her. So let Magella go sit down, man. English is now her first language.
So I don't know. The reporter keeps saying, and muffled Dr. Clarence, but we need to be unified as women, because it's hard to be a woman in politics. It's hard to be a woman leader. And for Magdala Cooper to try to say something about another fellow woman in her government, I think it was wrong. Dr. Pearson.
Yeah, think about it. Think about it this way, right? So you have, and I'm going somewhere with this, right? So you have an LEC, right? You have LEC, Liberia Electricity Corporation, that has the capacity to provide electricity output, right, of about 86 to 94 megawatts, right, of power to supply the country. And then in as much as that is their capacity, 86 to 94 megawatts of power to give out, to impress the public for political reason, they connect over 140 to 143 demand, but let me just say a need for power, right? So you connect people to the grid that will require you to provide provide 140 to 143 megawatts of power when you know you only have the capacity to provide 86 to 94 megawatts of power. What I'm saying there, Catherine, is that when you do that, it says something. Now, you may be having a political reason you want to run around and say, oh, President Barack just took power today and he has given, he has connected additional 1,500 homes, right? But it is like having a bucket of donuts that you can only give to 84 to 94 people, and then you want to bluff and put 140, 143 people in the room to receive the donut. That cares. So in other words, I'm saying you have people in places that they are acting politically, they are not acting technically. So Madela Cooper sits and she is the political advisor to the president. Of all persons, she should be telling people, you cannot give the political face of the government so that it brings a negative optics to the president's office. She sits in the office of the president and should be advising the president in a way that will make the president politically more favorable to the population. Rather than being that advisor, she goes under another public servant, and not just another public servant, another very high-profile public servant. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Catherine, if you don't know, is the doyen of the cabinet. And they can say dean of the cabinet, right? The dean of the cabinet. She's the dean of the cabinet. In other words, she's not only just an ordinary minister. She is top of the pyramid kind of a figure in the administration. She didn't go under her post and text, "There I am, the engine of the government." Someone posted about her. Someone else went under the post and posted a commendation acknowledging her service to the country. Why would you want to go under someone else's post with someone else trying to commend a public official, a high-profile public official, and you want to rebuke the high-profile public official indirectly by rebuking the person who's trying to commend them? What sense does that make? Look, I can see if it is me, right?
Right, because you will be opposition, but it's your own government. That's what's so confusing about it.
So now I told you I said I was going somewhere with this. So in other words, I'm saying to you, they're doing the job for us, right? So the reason why we have power outages all across the country now, they don't have to come back and ask for forgiveness, is because the managing director of LDC went and put additional 80 plus people on the power grid when he can only supply half of that amount of electricity to them. So now there's power outages. They gave us a talking point. Is it wrong for us to talk about it? Why they will be forcing us when we talk about it? I don't understand. And this is the same thing that goes with the Minister of Justice misinterpreting the Supreme Court opinion for political reason. This is the same thing that goes for the legal advisor to the President Bush Ben Keita interfering with a court case of a citizen who felt aggrieved by somebody verbal against her. Will you be the one to call the court and say throw the case out? Or should it be the court who will hear the case and say this case cannot be in the court, and we're now going to kick the case? I'm going to dismiss this case, right? Shouldn't it be the courts? Now they gave us all the talking points, and we'll go to talk. They say, "Oh, we'll just be a noisy politician," but at the same time, they're helping us in the process, Catherine.
Jefferson, talk to us about this and also what happened. I'm going to go into our third. We're going to mix it with our third point, which was the propaganda that Unity Party started, and it backfired on them. The lies that they started. They started on a fake closing argument page, and somehow Verity News picked it up, and they started with this. Alexander Cummings named a new chief of staff. Oh, they fired Mariah from being a chief of staff. Oh, there's a videotape. Oh, there's a divorce, and on and on and on. Then they just started attacking this person, attacking her. And it just started to get to the point where even people who may not have even knew her or liked her or whatever, was saying, what is going on? You know, why is the Unity Party using such fake propaganda on this person? And soon you had the former Vice President Jewel Howard Taylor coming out. Today, I think the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf posted, or her foundation posted. You know, Alexander Cummings posted. There was senators, representatives who were posting saying, "Stop this." People from all walks, men, women, people from different parties were saying that enough is enough. Like, what is going on with the Unity Party? Why are they piling on this woman? You know, talk to us, Jefferson, about that. Oh, looks like his camera left, but
Yeah, sorry, I think we're experiencing heavy downpour of rain currently. Yeah,
okay,
so you experience fluctuation in the internet.
okay.
Yeah,
But go ahead if you can comment.
yeah. So you like we've been saying, and for yesterday, I thought about that. The thing is, um, when supporters of a certain political group, when they've lost interest, I mean relevance, they have nothing else to say again, so they will always find this means to sway the minds of the people when the real issues are coming up. Mind you, this whole argument came about when uh, the issue of water on the market came. $10 for a bag of water, and then 120 Liberian dollars for one bottle of water. And so the only way, that could have been, yes, it could leave. They had to come up with this of fake news against Councillor Yekula. A whole lot of denigrating things being said. And I always say this to somebody, one person who's benefiting from the taxpayers' monies from this country being sent to him. What's his name? James Goodday Flomo. He says in Norway, writes on Facebook, just sit down and just create a story and write, and then the rest of the UP folks, they take it and they start running with it. And if you read the comment from the former Vice President Joa Howard Taylor, this is not good. Whenever they see women, coming to prominence, they're making waves in society, they always there will be this rift, this envy or jealousy to bring them down, suppress women. Madam Salif said 30% women participation in politics, and she also made mention at this current time about the 16, additional seats that should be added. Why not increase the voices of women, make women powerful in society, let them get involved into politics, give them the opportunity? But then you rather going out to suppress the women now, you won't bring women down. It is a good thing that we support women in every process, but the fact that we will go against women in society for whatever political reasons, and then we tear them apart, bring them down, what do we stand to benefit if you bring a person down, taking a person's character and then placing it at the at a certain stage? What do we stand to gain? So it is just, a fight that in my mind will yield no fruit. It's just to tell the Liberian people the key issues people should be focusing on. The Unity Party people are not doing it, but they rather go against women in society who are making progress in their own weak ways and saying a whole lot. If Mariah was suspended, she was sacked, as it has been claimed. This is something that would have been seen a long time ago, but cheap propaganda. And it was good that even the political leader of the Alternative National Congress came out and he had to clarify that to them, that today, you see, they no longer talk about it. The whole of Friday, that thing has been off the news, it's off social media, nothing to run with again. yes, nothing. It's just good day Flomo who said, oh, the court will go to the court and the court will see this, the divorce letter and what have you. Look, it is just something to tarnish, the reputation of somebody who had, built a character over the years. But it's wrong.
It was definitely wrong, and like you said, very glad that we showed the picture of Magdala Cooper trying to bring down a woman, a fellow woman in the government, by saying no, she's not the engine that keeps the administration breathing across the world, which was a nice compliment for her. It's your own government. Take the compliment. Why do you have to go in there and try to bring her down? Are you jealous? Are you angry? What, I think Councilor Bull Brown said, maybe you wanted the job and she's doing such a good job at it now and you're upset, but she was already in the foreign, sector before she got this job. I don't think Miss Magdala Cooper was doing anything in the foreign ministry or anything like that. So she was the better, stronger pick. I just don't understand this Unity Party people, and now they're fighting amongst themselves. While our political leader, Alexander Cummings, is at a CEO forum, and he is representing us, trying to build connections, trying to meet different leaders, trying to see what opportunities can come about for Liberia. This is the type of thing we want to see our leaders doing, making connections across the world, building bridges, finding, a common ground with other countries. There's different world leaders there, focusing on how to solve Africa's problems with other African CEOs and other African leaders. And that's what we need to be focused on. And one of the things that I'm proud of is that Mr. Cummings speaks their language. Every industry has a language. Every industry has a special way that they speak. And he knows about how to talk about profit and loss statements and revenue models and all these different business terms that these people use in order to understand how viable or how possible a new business will be in the country. And so I'm excited to see what developments will come from his various meetings that he's having. But Dr. Pearson, go ahead, end us off with either the Mariah or Mr. Cummings before we get ready to take calls.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. Let me just recognize two people that I see on this live that are important to me. One of my own church members and elders, Annette Jackson. I just want to say hi to her. I'm sure she's glued to her television right now. She's not going to give it away for anything. Hi, Mother Jackson. Thank you for tuning in and for being there. One of our Liberian journalists, Cyrus McGee. I think he's based in Minnesota. One of our strong media groups in abroad and in Liberia, the KMTV. Look, let me say this about the Mariah thing. When people tell us that Unity Party is good at propaganda, I think it's a flattery, and I think for me it's a flattery because I don't see it. I really don't see. I don't see how they are good, right? Now you can try to play propaganda when your real face is showing. It comes with more weight and validation to what you're saying. When you are hiding behind fake profiles, you are hiding behind fake titles, and then you're trying to castigate somebody. It's hard. It's very hard. You know why, Catherine? Because people want to know the character behind the accusation. Like, what is the value of the person who's trying to accuse another person of something? It's like I come behind a fake profile and say behind the mountain anonymous, and then I say something nasty about Catherine. and then somebody want to see what is the validity of that information, and they're trying to see the source of the information and see that behind the mountain anonymous. Like, how do I attach value to that kind of attack? I think government officials, ministers, and the under guys, assistant ministers should get off of Facebook with those fake profiles and stuff, and stop causing noise. I see them under my profile, under my post a lot, and they jump there and they talk nonsense and they cause you up and think they don't discuss the issue because they have nothing to discuss. Like Mr. Cummings said, nothing has changed. Even if they want to get into a conversation with you, they can provide anything substantive, right? Mariah is not someone who you can just come and just trash and get away with it. You know, full disclosure, I knew Mariah even before she knew me, you know, and I instigated an opportunity for Mariah then with President Ellen, and she didn't even know me at the time, right? And then I had to ask her that. I said, as soon as I saw her photo, I said, "Do you remember the photo?" She said, "Oh yes!" But she was much more smart at the time, you know, younger at the time, assistant minister. But you know, I'm just saying to say that Mariah is not new to this game, right? She may not have been a face in Facebook because Facebook is a new phenomenon in Liberia now with exposure in politics. But no, she's someone who's built a reputation and a character over the years. I know over time. She had tested this political space for a while now. She has gotten beat up, and dragged down, and what you can call it, and she stood the test of time. If she can survive the campaign from 2023, what else will come at her at this time that will stick, you know? And I would say this emphatically, like I said in a post I said about Mariah. I think her personal life is her personal life. I think what happens in her own personal life is her personal life. People use it, yes, for political reason, no problem, do it. And she will withstand it. She takes responsibility for what she does, and she's woman enough to stand up for her own self, right? And I want to thank Mr. Cummings for standing up with her. And look, Cummings at the CEO conference, Catherine says a lot. You know, it tells you where the president will be when he becomes president. You know what I'm telling you? You know what I mean? It's like you're looking for McCain and you see the man on the old car. you know, I'm looking for a good McCain. I'm looking for a good McCain. Then you see the man on the old car facing with the man from under the old car or the mechanic. Or he said, "I'm a mechanic." Will you doubt the man?
Mm-mm.
You know, this man is a seasoned businessman, Catherine. There is nothing Liberia needs more than someone that has the capacity to make Liberia a profitable nation to its people. That everything that should benefit Liberians come to benefit them. It shouldn't be someone sitting in the office of the presidency who doesn't understand the importance of citizens' data. That you will give citizens data for vehicle registration and other things that will include the private information to a foreign company to go and be the one to be in possession of, you know, our people's data. Not only that, not having any idea about data sovereignty, you give data, printing of biometrics, ID, and other kind of stuff, and give it to an Australian. You want to give it to an Australian company, a foreign company. What sense is that? You want to give our health and medical data and expose it to the United States of America, who already deporting Liberians. I don't understand. We cannot have a better president in this dispensation in Liberia that will be better than Alexander Cummings. He is the mechanic and he knows the job. And he can turn the economy of Liberia from where it is in the slum to where it's supposed to be to make all Liberians better suited to enjoy the fruit of the land. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you so much, Jefferson. Close us out, and if you can open the lines.
Yes, folks, it's 12:30 midnight here in Liberia, and the program you're listening to is LIB Future TV Week in Review. It's time that we interact with you. If you're still up, 0777-959-959. A lot of topics have been covered since 11 to now. The issue we have with recently we talked about Councillor Yakula, and of course statement made by Councillor Perebambu, and then we talk about the government waste as well. The audit 0777959 talk about LEC. Senator Dillon statement about LEC being stable. All of these conversations we've highlighted. What do you have to say? 0777959 959 077 959 959 0886 130723 plus 231 777 959 959 are the numbers you can use tonight to be a part of the show, the discussion. And we also talk about the water, the price of water in the country. Recently, mineral water, $10 for bag and $20 for bottle. We'll go to the lines and take this very first person. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. 0777959 0777959 and plus 231 777 are the numbers you can use this morning to be a part of the show.
That person was sleeping up there. Him maybe stay in touch with the phone button.
I guess so. Yeah.
You know, I could be talking why you when you pick the call, just let us know. So you mentioned the water issue just now. You know, when I first heard that water issue, I knew exactly what the case was. Because there's something we call in economics, we call regulatory accumulation, or they call it regulatory creep, wherein you got too many smaller surcharges that end up putting so much burden on the producer, and then they carry the price up, right? And when I heard that, I did a post quickly and I posted it, and of course people started digging into it, and eventually it boils down to that. You know, everybody in government, every agency who feed the link to some kind of little production want to go and tax the people something, want to put some kind of expense on the people. I think that is wrong, and now it backfires on us, because first of all, if the people producing water and sewer not saying that because the water coming from in the ground, the new mineral law says that any water coming from under the ground is part of the natural resources of Liberia. So because the water is part of the natural resources of Liberia, if you dig a well, a borehole to do water business, any water you pump from the well, they will put a meter on the well, so that when you pump in the water from the well to do your mineral water, you'll be paying for the water you pumping from in your own well that you took in your yard or in your compound for your mineral water project. If LEC when water and sewer going to run the pipe to you and you get water and sewer water, of course, then they will charge you again for the water on the water from the water and sewer water. Now, if you getting the water from within your well, the wash team wants to come and conduct assessment and evaluation and even do testing. Not only that, EPA want to come and do water testing. Not only that, you got Ministry of Commerce want to come to and do another form of testing. So they got multiple layers of people trying to test their own water. And when the guys want to put all the money together, way up to almost $600, $500 to $600 on just the different fees alone. In my own area where I'm coming from, where I live, Pinzo City Corporation charging people $110 or $120 for every water facing machine you get in your factory. Every single machine, $100 and change for one. You gotta pay for it. They say municipal something. Can you imagine? So at the end of the day, then fuel price going up, gasoline price going up, right? The people gotta buy fuel not only to fix the water, to plastic the water, but they have to buy fuel to put in the truck that carry the water to go sell. Not only that they have to do that, they have to pay the people working for them to produce the water, and the people driving the truck to carry the water, to offload and unload the water. When you put all of those complications together, obviously you see where the people are going with the prices, right? So we have that regulatory accumulation, we have that regulatory creep, and it all goes down to, I believe, the government intention to want to raise a $1 billion budget, right? A $1.2 or $1.5 billion budget. They don't even have, you have not even tested your capacity to raise that kind of money. Then you're making a budget and have the audacity to even do an additional budget to add to the budget that you are not even collected to begin with. And now I'm not even sure. I'm going to look to see if the LRA has produced any of the quarterly reports to see what our revenue trend is for 2026, because we need to know. And LRA need to provide the reports, the quarterly reports, so we can see whether we are on target to meet that 1.7 budget, or is it the reason why that they are behind the Liberian people and trying to squeeze every life out of them? You know, and it goes back to what I said again, Catherine: capacity, competence. People running government, they do not know what they are doing. Can you imagine, Catherine, trying to make water? You get 3 different agencies of government coming to charge you for the same activity they're trying to carry out. And I just heard, in addition to the WASH, the Commerce, and the EPA, even MPhil now also going to do quarterly testing of people water. Then they got to put meter on the borehole well that they put in the company yard to pump water. They're going to put meter on it for them to pay for the water coming from the ground instead of natural resources. At what point are you saying that as a government, we have to waive some of these things so that the price can be stable for the common people not to suffer? At what point do you say that? Or do you just want to live, the few people who enjoy want to live at the expense of the poor people? That's bad.
This is a shame. I'm showing a picture now of a man. He's drinking rainwater from the ground. You know, this is how people get sick. This is how people get all the different diseases that we talk about, malaria, diarrhea. You know, it's because there's no access to clean drinking water in the country. And the little water sachets that people are buying, they're becoming so expensive now. You know, I mean, and then they have to pay these taxes, and then they have to pay these fees. And I mean, the other day they came out with so many fees at one time, the same day. It was making fees for content creators. You haven't even monetized them yet, but you want to charge them. Radio stations, hotels, you know, barber shops, hair salons. What does it have to do with tourism? There's no tour. You're not bringing tourists in the country. Yeah, you're charging tourism fee. You know, they had so many different. Oh, they had the people in the KK, and they had to buy fire suppression materials and pay for that too. Then they raised the taxes. I mean, what are they thinking? They're trying to drown the Liberian people in poverty. They're mowing down their homes, destroying their homes, making them homeless, charging them fees, but they're not building any homes for them to live in, and they're not bringing any jobs into the country.
Yeah, add this to this, right? And the fact that the census that we did, the household census, said that more than 80% of employment in Liberia is vulnerable employment. You know what I mean by that? When the census say that, it means people who are in that category, Catherine, are living on small petty businesses like the one we see they put in the pickup every time they collect the poor market and they're driving in from the streets. Those are what
at least 70,000 jobs.
Yeah, those are what the census call vulnerable employment, right? So if over 80% of your population are vulnerably employed, not in the formal sector, and that is the means that they are earning a livelihood, and you think you can go and make them unemployed by endangering the very vulnerable employment that they have, and you feel it's okay, and at the same time you're doing that, you're increasing GST from 2023 it was 9%, 2024 they took it to 10%. 2026 they're carrying it to 18% VAT, right? Value added taxes. All right. Not only that, they're going as far as you myself speaking, they're going as far as to want to improve upon collecting house taxes. And you think when you come to me to collect tax from me for my house, you think I will not pass it on to the rent? I definitely will pass it on to the rent. And if I own the shop that I'm using to do my business, if I start paying heavy taxes on that shop, I'm not talking about the guzo, just the shop alone. If I'm paying taxes on the shop alone, the store that I'm only to do my business in. If the tax starts to become a burden, you think I will pass it on to the goose? No. So that's why we need Alexander Cummings. We need somebody who can sit down and tell you, and you don't even have to come to him with they're gonna book us papers and they're gonna book us fees. He just tell you, listen, that's nonsense. Go back and go do your homework before you come to me. I love it, Catherine, when I sent Mr. Cummings things, right? Technical things. The first thing he said, he said, Doc, can you go back and research this thing further and do a more detailed calculation for these things? He's not just gonna say, I'm just gonna run with it. He's gonna say, I have looked at this thing and I see you did an in-depth analysis of what you're discussing here. That's leadership. You can just so because a minister performance evaluation day coming where so they give a certificate, so everybody just charge fee all around to make money and say, well, I raised the highest amount of money. Mm-hmm. Mr. President, I raised the highest amount of revenue against the $1 billion. So then they gave me a certificate. Who suffers? Catch me before I drop this mark. Let me say this. I grew up in Liberia and it's still happening today. Well, when you wake up, if you had a mother who has to go to the garden and cut the potato greens, if you know what I'm talking about, or cut the cassava leaves and take it to the market to sell, catching, or to go buy a bag of rice and take it to the market to sell, catching. If she sells the entire day, her maximum profit is not going to be more than $1,000 Liberian dollars or $2,000-$3,000 Liberian dollars, right? It's a meager amount. You know what she's going to do with that profit? Immediately she make that profit, catching? Mm-hmm. She's going to stay right in that market and buy the daily food for her children and herself with that same profit. She takes that profit home, and from the morning till the evening when she got home, by 6, 7 in the evening, the children had not eaten. It's when they start cooking. Single meal of the day. By the time the through cooking is around 7:30, 8 in the evening, everybody eats that a meal for the day. Catching. That is a typical ordinary Liberian in the majority who live on the dollar they make per day. Imagine that. And you think you can just increase. They're not even thinking when you increase the fuel price, when the transportation goes up, the woman the little profit she's supposed to make on a market to get in car to go to red light to sell and come back, that Tesla driver going to take additional a part of that profit from her. When she got to the market, the spot catching, she's going to put her market on the floor to sell that spot. She's going to put it on. She got to pay that fee for that spot. It moves. It comes out of the profit she's supposed to make. You see, and all of these things play on the bigger picture of the suffering of Liberian people. That's why Mr. Alexander Cummings is needed. Someone who understands that big picture.
We interviewed a woman who the yellow machines, no warning, just came and just destroyed where she cooks every day. And she said, my children haven't eaten. My children haven't eaten today. All my things, they're so heartless. And I heard the president say, oh, eventually you will be happy about this demolition. That's not how you run a government. You have to go to the people and say, look, we're going to be clearing this place in the next 90 days. We know you need to relocate. We can't pay you, as much as you would need, but we'll give you this amount of money if you relocate. If you relocate now, we give you this amount of money. If you wait till next month, it will be a little bit less. So that gives them more incentive to take the more money and go somewhere else. Let them start somewhere else. Oh, by the way, we started a place where you can set up, build a place where they can actually work. If you say they cannot work here, where can they work? You never built a new place for them. You never gave them any notice that you were going to move them. So you just come and just destroy everything that they have there. The people don't have no way to make any living. All her pots, everything that she used to cook, destroyed under rubble. This is the Liberia that we have, but I know it's not the Liberia that people intended to vote for. You know, the last election, I know people were so sick and tired of CDC, they just wanted to get rid of them. But they voted for Joseph Boakai and nothing has changed. Prices are high, no jobs, no electricity, healthcare is bad. I went and I looked at the first State of the Nation, and we published a story on LIB Future TV. You know, Joseph Boakai said that he was going to train 10,000 youth in information technology. He said he was going to start a national health insurance program. No cars stuck in the road. You know, he promised so many things. Nothing has come of it. A middle class, nothing. And so every year, this is what he's going to do, is just come there and just talk a whole bunch of tabata and then go sit down. Because he just mix up things, you know, that he has no idea of how to bring about.
You say talk a lot of what?
Tabata. It's just nonsense. Nonsense. I mean, he's not doing the thing. Okay. The 10,000 people that he said he was going to train, you know, it got to the point where they were so under pressure that they just put these kids in like 2-day classes, gave them certificates, and said, okay, here you go. You know, this government, for the next few years, I know it's going to be tough. But Liberians, 2029, you have a chance to really change this country, to fix these things and make them better. You know, the future is already here. Children deserve to get off the street selling and be in school. Health facilities. Joseph Boakai said in his SONA that he was going to bring drugs and bring regional clinics. Have you seen any regional clinics built with drugs?
Oh. Wow.
Jefferson, have you seen any regional clinics built with medicine in there?
It's difficult now.
You know, it's interesting when you mentioned the issue of healthcare. I used to work at the LIB hospital. I think I was there for like 5 years after the war, and the Americans that worked there at the time around there had left because of the civil crisis. So coming out of the war, we had to go there and see if we can rebuild it and bring it back up while the Americans were out. So it was locally run. And I happened to have been one of those who were fortunate to be there to assist in the process. So I'm not saying what I'm about to say with any prejudice, any ill will to ELW Hospital. But I saw on the Executive Mansion website today that the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Health and Development Planning, the CSA, Civil Service Agency, and the Ministry of Health has placed 304 healthcare workers from ELW Hospital on the payroll, on CSA payroll, and have already expended around $104,000 against their salaries, hoping to do that, arrears and current salaries. And Catherine, I'm thinking to myself, like, this is a private-run hospital. Not just a private-run hospital, it's a faith-based hospital that has overseas connection. Meaning, I'm trying to say they have an opportunity to source funding even outside of Liberia because of where the overall headquarters is based. And after that, ELW Hospital is not a very economical hospital in terms of how it charges the local population. No, it's not like, say, a charity hospital that maybe free hospital care, a free health care, I should say, free medication or free checkup and all that kind of thing. No, it's privately owned and for profit, right? So I'm thinking, and like you put it, Catherine, how many rural hospitals that still have volunteer nurses who are not on government payroll? How many rural hospitals that do not have adequate staffing of health practitioners in Liberia? How can we have the Liberian Nursing Association or the Liberian Healthcare Association or Association of Liberian Healthcare Workers, whatever the case is, agitating regularly, always complaining that what they are earning is not satisfactory to begin with. In addition, a lot of their colleagues are still not on payroll, even down to some of the urban hospitals, the Phoebe, crying about the facility, the health facility, the care of the health facility, JFK and other places. How can you not be able to adequately fund public hospital and have a strong penetration of healthcare in rural Liberia, where pregnant women have to be put in hammock and walk hundreds, tens of miles, maybe 10, 20 miles to get to one health facility that don't even have current in it, and you are putting a private hospital on government payroll, 304 healthcare employees from a private hospital on government payroll? What kind of administrative thinking is that? What kind of fiscal management is that, Catherine? Catherine, answer me that. And tell me, I don't understand. I love Elwa Hospital. I am a fan of Elwa Hospital. I give Elwa Hospital credit for the tremendous help to the people of Liberia. But pray, help me, tell me, it is a private-run institution that already receives subsidies from government, Catherine. And not only that, Elwa has always been receiving subsidy from government within the national budget, right? So, and when I read through the executive mansion release, Jefferson, one of the things I was looking for, Captain, one of the things I was looking for was to see, okay, now if government put 304 ELW hospital health workers, employee on government payroll, what are the terms and conditions that the public money that is used for that purpose, that the public can benefit from that process? What are the terms and conditions? Are we saying now that healthcare will be charged at a minimum? Would that be a cap on how much either hospital can charge certain services? What are they saying? And I saw nothing, Catherine, nothing whatsoever. Do we even have the capacity to sustain that kind of payroll? It's sad, man. We need good leadership, Catherine. We really need good leadership.
We have a chance to change. We have a chance to make a difference in the country. We really do. And we have leaders who are intelligent, who know what the country needs, who knows how to bring about change. But it's up to the Liberian people, because if they keep saying we're going to go back and forth between these same two parties, the Unity Party, then CDC, then the Unity Party again, and nothing has changed in your life. Things are getting worse. People are suffering more. Hardship in the country. Our brothers and sisters have to drink contaminated water. We are failing the future. We're failing our children. They're still selling on the streets. Joseph Buckeye said, no children selling on the streets. He said no children will be selling on the street. They're still selling on the street. I think Unity Party, they're good at propaganda. I know, Dr. Pearson, you said that's a compliment to them, but the other day they started rounding out children, bringing them in, giving them juice, telling them that you need to come pick your children up, and all the children were sitting at the table. They had their little juice there. Their parents had to come pick them up. Before, they were putting them in arresting them. And people were saying, how can you arrest children? What is wrong with you? So then they put them in a conference room and gave them little juices and tried to treat them nicer. But none of it mattered, because why? The system is broken. So the next 2 weeks, the children were still back out there selling. And, they can't do anything about it, because they haven't brought jobs to the country. There's no money floating around. There's not enough money for people to be able to live without having their children help them. You know, if their children don't help them, there's no food for them to eat. Everybody's trying to hustle to find food to eat. You know, I think it's like, what did Mr. Cummings say? 2 or 3 out of 5 people go to bed hungry in Liberia. It's a real problem. It's a real problem in the country. It's a sad problem, but we have a solution. Mr. Cummings, 2029, he can fix a lot of these issues. He can fix a lot of these issues. He knows how. And he is from Liberia, from Point 4. He went through everything that you all have gone through. So he knows the system and he knows the country. And that's why as soon as Mr. Cummings comes out and starts speaking, you see the Unity Party just going crazy, typing on social media, attacking him. Oh, he's gay. Oh, he's gay. Oh, he's a gay. Don't vote for him. You know, because they don't want things to change. So all they do is just lie to you because they do not want to see change. Mr. Cummings is not gay. Mr. Cummings has been married to his beautiful wife for over 40 years. They have 2 children. He's a grandfather. You know, he is far from that. But that's what they try to do, to lie to you. So this time, when they stop bringing that lie to you, just tell them, go sit down somewhere. Stop that. Get out of my face. Get out of my face.
You know, and I like how you put it, when they start bringing those kind of lies to you, you know, and lies don't have wings to fly too high, because the thing is that lies don't live longer than the truth, you know. Is there any one individual who has come up and say, I can confirm that Mr. Cummings and I had a relationship? Never, ever. You know, you can have, I know how much dollars you want to have. You can never go out there and buy anyone who will come back and say, Mr. Cummings and I had a relationship. It never existed. I mean, it's sad that the Liberian people, you know, bought into that lie, but I don't think they're going to do that anymore. I think our time is up, so I think giving a closing statement before we leave.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead, Dr. Pearson.
You know, yeah, thank you, Catherine. It was a pleasure coming in to hang out with you and Jefferson today, which is not my regular day. But I want to say to the Liberian people out there, I know you're sleeping, check your doors and check your windows. It was a pleasure being on tonight. Catherine, it was a pleasure joining you tonight. And I pray, Jefferson, you have a good evening, and look forward to seeing you on your morning show. As usual, I can be creepy in there and see you on your morning show. And with the people who can call from lo-fi.
Right. Yeah.
He got into the air conditioner. He didn't like it.
Yeah.
The people can do what?
You sit in the car and play cool and think you do woo.
There's one before the air conditioner. That one can crack me up too. But they said to put it this something again.
Yeah.
Oh, man. They had to do something other way, harass me or something, or something. But the way you said it, that was I mean,
yeah. The policeman, it too. Something. I just forgetting the word he pronounced.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's fun, not too funny. But thank you again for having me, Catherine. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for joining LIB Week in Review. To all of our listeners, we didn't get your calls tonight, but we'll be back next week with more issues. We'll be talking about more things that happened during the week. So stay tuned to us and follow us on Facebook, LIB Future TV. Have a good night.
Take me back to Liberia, where the drums still play my song. Take me back to my homeland. It's the place where I belong.
LIB Future TV, giving voice to progressive Liberians. speaking about politics, entertainment, and local news.